Hi, MJ here. Between the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and teaching classes, I haven't had much time to sit and actually work on this journal. I've been working on this altered notebook, or altered book, I should say, since October. I was hoping to finish it before Halloween was over. Hopefully I'll get it finished before Halloween of this year. Today is basically showing you a couple of pages that I'll be working on, how I aged some of the pages to match the vintage look of the book. I did work on the cover for quite a while. As you can see, I used these spiders. I could not find spiders, those plastic spiders, to put on the cover of the book. I wanted it to have some kind of dimension to it, so I found these cutouts. And I just went ahead and stacked one on top of each other, glued them together to give me the dimension that I wanted. I also used some of the gold wax to put over the relief to give me the gold tint and finish on it. Now the spider webs and all that, all I did was use a glue stick, hot glue gun, and just make the spider webs. I then went ahead and took some tissue paper, or again, and we all have these if you decoupage, extra napkins, the back of the napkins that you peeled off from your decoupage napkins. I added that with gesso. I prefer, and you probably already know this from other videos you've seen, I rather use gesso than Mod Podge. I think that Mod Podge, for me, it's just that shiny finish. Even when using matte, I just don't care for it. But once I went ahead and covered everything with the tissue paper, I went ahead and just bought a tube of black paint from the dollar store and just covered everything with the black. Now I did have to let it dry for about 2 days to make sure that it was cured. That was the hardest part, having to wait, because I was ready to start decorating. So let's do a quick walkthrough on how I went ahead and added pages, decorated the pages in this altered book. I used Vectoria Designs Halloween Night to alter the book. I printed my images and of course cut them out. And for me, to give it that kind of vintagey, kind of old look, I went ahead and I took the pages and I went ahead and crumpled them up. So I just took like the page and just kind of like just crumpled it. And then I flattened it out a bit and went ahead and used a glue stick to start gluing some of these pages. But for me, I found that I prefer to use double-sided tape. I think it just holds better. And then I went ahead and used ink and inked all around the pages before gluing them down. So as you can see, it just gives it a great kind of beat up, kind of grungy look. I have my pages sort of decorated, not all of them are decorated, but here you can see that I aged this page. I found the color was too bright for what I was looking for the type of finish that I wanted, the vintage finish. So I went ahead and I did what I've done before. I used napkin and added the napkin and then went up over it with tinted gesso, which, as you already know, is one of my favorite things to use. And I think it turned out pretty well. I did pockets, and here again, it's one of those pages where I found the purple is just too bright. I wanted it to look a little bit more aged. So what I did is I just cut up a piece of tissue paper. I crumpled it up, and I kind of like flattened it out a little bit. I took some of the gesso, as I've done before, but I think here I went ahead and I used Holtz tinted media because I was running out of the gesso. So I used Distress Collage medium from Tim Holtz here. It worked out well, but it was a little too dark for what I wanted, but it still worked really nicely. So I just went ahead and coated the pocket with some of the media and just covered everything up. And as you can see, if you want to, you could basically just leave it with just the media. You don't really need to put the tissue on top and add more layers to it. But I like the wrinkly, kind of crumpled up look. So I went ahead and covered everything with it, with the media. And please make sure to put, if you're going to do it, just put maybe some wax paper like I did, so you don't glue the pocket or get any of the tinted media on the other sides of your project or the other pages of your project. And then I just went ahead and I just put here the tissue paper and just pack it down with your hands, kind of like help it adhere a little bit to the media. And just kind of pat it down here and there. And then just go over it again. And just kind of like cover the whole thing. I do like to kind of rub it with the brush so that I make sure that it does make a good adhesion to the tissue. And just keep going over it. I mean, I already like the way it's looking. It totally changes it. It's not as bright, that bright purple. It's more like a dingy color, which is what I was looking for. I just didn't think that the bright purple went with the aesthetics of the book. Everything else has got that old and vintage look, and then you have a bright purple color, which I like, but it just didn't fit in the aesthetics of this this project, or this page anyways. And there's a couple of other pages that I'll show you that I did the same thing too, because I found that it was a lot nicer with the tinted color on the bright paper. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take my heat gun to dry it, because like I said before, I just don't have the patience to let it air dry. So I like to go ahead and speed it up by just drying it with the hot glue. Well, I'm sorry, hot glue, not really. I guess you could if you wanted to, but with my my heat gun. There it is. So. And it just dries really quick. It doesn't take very long to get it dried out. Then once dried, I took a nail file and went around the edges and took all the excess tissue paper that was hanging from the sides and just kind of rubbed them off. I tried using the scissors at one point, but I think the nail file works pretty well. I like the end result. It gives it kind of like a little torn edges. So I went ahead and I used the nail file. In some areas I did have to use the scissors. but overall I think it turned out pretty good. I like the more vintage look to it. I think it fits better than the bright purple. I'm just kind of finish off this bit here. And I think it's pretty good. Just brush it off a little bit, get all those extra pieces of napkins out. And I don't know, lately I've been hooked on altering books. I've made a lot of journals from scratch, like from beginning to end. I've made the covers and everything, but started doing some of the altered books, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. I really like doing these. So probably the next one I'll use another book. I've been going to my local thrift shop and picking up books with hardcovers because I like the hardcovers to work with. And I've got a ton of those, and you can get them for like $1, $2, $3, and they work really nice. So I think this page is pretty much done. And I like how it turned out. I like the way it looks. So I think this is a winner for me. Anyways. But here you can see I've aged some photos, and I've got a previous video that y'all can check out how I aged the photos, and it's basically the same process, tissue and gesso. But I really like how those turn out. And I think this page right here, I like the pattern, I like the look of it, but again, I think that this page is a little too bright for what I'm going for here in this book. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take a napkin and kind of give it an aged look. For me, vintage is it. If you see my previous videos, I love vintage look, the grungy kind of vintagey look. I've made some baby books, and of course those are just vintage. I just didn't care for vintage on those, but for me, I vintage everything. Any journal I make, I love the vintage look. I love the grungy kind of dark edges. I'm even thinking that on this book, I'm going to go ahead and kind of give it like a little burnt on the edges, like burnt edges. And I don't know, I'm thinking about doing that, but we'll see. We'll see what I decide on that. I have taken the box cutter and just taken the blade of the box cutter and run it around the edges of all the pages to kind of rip the pages a little bit on the edges so they look worn and torn. So again, here I just went ahead and put some of the distress media. And for this page, I thought I'd just go ahead and use the distress media. I'm not going to go ahead and put tissue paper on it, and just let's see what it looks like. If I like how it looks, because it already has plenty of wrinkles, as you can see. So I didn't think it needed the extra layer of tissue paper. So once we dry it off, let's see if I get the kind of look I'm looking for, which I think I will, because like I said, the Tim Holtz has a great tint to it, and you can use it just like that, or you can add the layers of tissue if you want more texture, more to it. Now the Tim Holtz does leave a little bit of a shine to it, but I'm okay with that. Once totally dry, it looks really nice. So yeah, I think I like that. And if anything, what I can do, and I've done before as well, is take the nail file and kind of rub the nail file over it and take some of the extra shiny off of it. But we'll see if I go ahead and do that. But I've got plenty of other pages I need to work on, but this is basically the idea of what I wanted to show you. And I'll probably go over some more of these pages to give it a more tinted look to the pages. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed watching. I will tell you, this is my first video where I've actually talked on the video, so please be kind. This is my first try at it. I hope I've done sort of okay. I'm sure the videos will get better as I get more practice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time.